And
Oh,
Rob,
hi
please.
everybody. Nice to see you. Yeah. Oh, hi. Here we go. That music can mean only one thing. We need new
Make
music.
music.
Actually, it means
I like the music. It took me a long time to get that composed. I sat there for a long time thinking
I
about
know.
it.
I know. I
Lev
know. I
likes
know.
music too.
Yeah. I well.
Yeah, there you go.
I think he.
Yeah.
I don't think he does. I think he's just being nice.
Oh,
His
really?
his inner Canadian coming out. Yeah. I think.
Lev knows how to speak the truth. He knows.
So,
Anyway, welcome. My name
am
is.
I supposed to accept your like invitation right now? Because I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah,
Which invitation?
I got a Substack invitation
Oh
or
no, no,
no?
don't accept it. Don't stay away from that one. I need to delete it because
No.
we're on Zev's feed right now because we have some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. My name is Dean. It's kind of a little mini week in review. There's my friend Zev Shalev from the 5stacknarrative.org. Lev remembers Mr. Lev Parnas, ladies and gentlemen, award-winning whistleblower. He joins us again today from parts unknown, somewhere in Florida. I look like I'm broadcasting from a prison cell, and I'm Antifa apparently, so I'm just prepping for it. But we had a couple big things happen over the past 24 hours. One, Letitia James, she gets indicted. We're going to deal with that. Lev's got some intel and insight as to who's next, why, and what's going to happen as Trump continually tries to target his political enemies. We're going to talk about the defunding of the left, which is now on deck as well. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got some breaking news to start, and I would love Lev's opinion on this because try as hard as Donald Trump did, Lev Parnas, campaigning for 9 months for the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah,
I mean,
getting people like Obama to write letters and getting Israel to write letters, getting North Korea, of all countries, to write letters to the Nobel board. He lost today to Maria Corina Machado, the opposition leader in Venezuela, who actually shows courage and integrity. I want to start there. Lev Parnas, your thoughts on Trump, the Nobel loser today?
I mean, listen. I mean, I don't even know how he. I mean, just watching the takeout today of how all of these Republicans are having meltdowns. Not Republicans. Let me rephrase. These are mega loyalists having
Yeah.
like these meltdowns all over TV, talking about how this is the greatest thing that Trump should have. He stopped 40 wars in like 6 days, and and he's across the the water. He's parted the sea. I mean, you're talking about like the Messiah, and it was even more interesting to see how who really came out. And this was, and I wrote about it literally right before we went on. I put it on my Substack letter. I encourage all of you to go read it because today one of the sad parts was Ukraine got bombarded. Or Kiev was in darkness.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about. But getting back to Donald Trump, the person that praised him was really upset that he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize was Vladimir Putin. Think about that one, folks. Vladimir
Mm-hmm.
Putin came out today and basically said, the Nobel Peace Committee should be dismantled because, what Trump did, Trump should have won the Nobel Peace Prize. Think about how people are stroking his ego. Think about who is stroking his ego, and think about how he's responding and what he's giving these people by stroking his ego. Because at
It-
the end of the day, people that get the Nobel Peace Prize are people that actually are are committed to a cause, are committed to peace, committed to seeing something, a resolution, not an announcement. With
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump, just as going back to the whole Biden situation, remember he never wanted an investigation. He just wanted an announcement. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want peace all over the world. He just wants these announcements. It's all about the perception, the reflection, to be able to, because at the end of the day, this Nobel Peace Prize for him was, and a lot of people say, oh, because Obama wanted. Yes, one reason. That's one of the reasons, because that's been sticking to him all along. But the other reason is like, as niece said on my Substack when we were live, she said, one of the reasons Donald Trump is the way he is right now is because he was never loved as a child.
mm,
He's never gotten this recognition, So he's always chasing that love from the media, from the people, from anybody, just to be able to say. And that's why he puts these people in the room and really uses that authoritarian tactic by having them, go out there and talk nice about him, because of something that he's dangling, either tariffs or some sort
Yeah.
of peace deal or whatever the case is. But
It's striking that Putin, a war criminal, is the guy out there telling them that Trump should win a peace prize. This guy's committing war crimes in Ukraine, as you point out, right now. So it's really remarkable. Obama himself would have said that he got the peace prize in 2008 too early. He didn't really start uh, his administration by that time, but he got the Peace Prize too early, and probably maybe even he didn't deserve it. But nevertheless, he certainly deserved it more than this man, Donald Trump, who, for all intents and purposes, has been stoking war more than he has been ending war. And these are live pictures now out of Gaza that we're looking at. After 2 years of fighting, there is now a ceasefire that's going into effect in the last few hours, and the Israeli troops are now moving back to the 30-mile zone that they've restricted themselves to. But it is, it's amazing what's happened to Gaza in the last 2 years under Trump and under Biden's support. That whole territory has been completely obliterated. It doesn't strike one as the kind of thing you'd give someone a peace prize to.
Yeah, and not to mention that he put probably 40 of the 70 billion that went to Israel's military aid cause into Israel unfettered. But outside of the wars that he didn't stop, I'm very interested because that's what he's been selling everybody, Lev and Zev, for the last several months. Is like, I stopped 2 wars, 3 wars, 4 wars, 5 wars, 6 wars. He didn't do any of that. None of those things are accurate. The visuals that we see are accurate as to the damage that has been done under his administration, and you can back that up to the Biden administration as well. But the interesting part here, Lev, is the lengths that Donald Trump went to try to secure a Nobel Peace Prize. To your point, he doesn't give a shit if he's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. He just wants the trophy. He wants the plate. He wants to have that on his CV. He, as I understand it, actually tariffed India and used the threat of tariffs with India and Modi, unless Modi sent a letter to the Nobel Prize Committee. Is that what I understand? Is that true?
yeah, oh, absolutely. That's one of the reasons why they had that whole rift between India and Modi, because he put and that's why Modi went to China. That's why he tariffed Modi. It was all about because Modi did not want to accept that Trump that was involved in peace between them and India. I mean them and Pakistan.
Yeah.
They,
It's interesting the Norwegians were
In my
bracing
cup.
themselves today because they were worried about, what Trump might do. How's he going to attack Norway now? Is he going to add tariffs to Norway? Is he going to, really go after them for not giving him the Peace Prize? I mean, this is so ironic that a guy who wants the Peace Prize is looking for retribution everywhere he can, and that their expectation is that he's looking for retribution as well, which is, unique for any event. I can't imagine a single Peace Prize winner in the past ever being concerned about not winning and there being some sort of retribution around that. But here we are in a Trump world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
retribution's the name of the game, right? I mean, that we can pivot, even though you're not going to give the Nobel Peace Prize to a guy who's militarizing different cities, who's attacking different cities with other cities' National Guard, other states' National Guards. He's 60,000 people currently sitting in detention centers around the United States, minus any basic human rights or fundamental habeas corpus rights right now, right fucking now. So, didn't necessarily strike me as the kind of guy or the kind of actions of a man or an individual who showed courage and integrity, the only 2 things that matter to the Nobel Prize Committee. And Alfred Nobel was very specific about that. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but when they made the announcement as to the winner, María Corina Machado, the Venezuelan opposition leader, who stayed in Venezuela after having the presidency removed from her by Maduro, who's been threatened, and people, they've tried to kill her multiple times. She refuses to leave. And then you look at a guy like Donald Trump, who's doing exactly what Maduro is doing to her, going, "Where's my fucking Nobel Peace Prize?" It fascinates me at the same time, in as much as he's continuing to literally go after his own people in his own fucking country, which blows my mind. Blows my mind that anybody in that regime. I watched Steve Scalise this morning on MSNBC go, He's done more for the world than any other president, and he's been the best in the whole world, and he deserves it more than anybody in the whole world. And I thought to myself, man, I don't know if these people, and maybe Lev, you can speak to this. I don't know if these people are just being sent out there to tell us that Donald Trump's a real fucking peaceful guy who stopped 100 wars and he's the most peaceful guy in the world that deserves it, or if they actually believe it, because I find that part of this to be insane.
Yeah, I'll tell you this much before I get into that. The best part I liked today was when a reporter asked the Nobel Committee chair, about what, giving out why they gave the Nobel Peace Prize and to who. And I like the way he ended it. That was just a prayer. I would just want to quote him here. He said, "We only give the award people of courage and integrity." I mean, that sums it up, I think, when it comes to when it comes to Donald Trump. I mean,
It's like
he
a
neither has
understatement.
courage nor integrity. So I mean, like he said it, it was perfectly stated. I mean,
Yeah.
it wrapped up that whole Nobel Peace Prize in those two words. He said, "Listen, and that's what it is, and because what is Donald Trump actually doing? On the pretenses of going out there and saving, 40 wars, 48 wars, whatever that number is growing to now, between Albania and Korea and, North Korea and, Azerbaijan. I mean, he got wars being saved that people don't even know each other or not even been close to each other. But,
Yeah,
you
what
know,
was it? It was Cambodia and
no, it was Albania.
Azerbaijan.
No, Albania and Azerbaijan. And just think about the Albanian prime minister, is mocking us, saying, telling Macron, you gotta thank us. You didn't congratulate. We've had a 34-year-old war nobody even knew about, but Donald Trump knew about, and he stopped it. And and just think about it. Azerbaijan wrote a letter to the Nobel Peace. This is the whole thing. This is the point that I keep trying to make, that is so important, that everybody needs to understand is that what you're seeing play out, the way these dictators, the way some of these far right leaders in the world are now in the open, just basically bribing Trump. But you don't have to bribe him with a 400 Qatari jet. Sometimes some nice words go a far longer way with Donald Trump, because again, he that's what he thrives on. That's what he needs. He has the billions of dollars. He's achieved the power. He's achieved everything. The one thing Donald Trump has never achieved is being loved, respected. He's never been loved as a child. He's never been loved and respected in the business world. He's always tried to fake it till you make it, to get to a point where, if he had 100 million, he needed to tell people he had $1 billion. If he had 1 billion, he needed people to think he had 100 billion. He was always in that world of trying to get that sort of respect, love. And here he is now, the president of the United States, the most powerful position in the world, the most powerful
Bizarre.
man in the world, and
Yeah.
he still can't get the love, the recognition, not only from the people, the media, but the world.
It's not
So
really
that's
love.
why
It's adoration. He wants to be,
adoration. Yeah.
completely admired by everyone. He doesn't actually want to love anybody. It doesn't seem. He doesn't have that instinct. The White House put out a statement, by the way, saying President Trump will continue making peace deals, ending wars, and saving lives. He has the heart of a humanitarian, and there will never be anyone like him who can move mountains with sheer force of his will. Serious quote. The Nobel Committee proved they place politics over peace. That's Stephen Chung, his spokesperson, saying that today. The heart of a humanitarian
Yeah,
who can
really.
move
Right.
mountains with sheer
Yeah.
force of his will.
Well, yeah, that's the next move, is to dismantle the Nobel Peace Committee,
Yeah,
because since Donald Trump hasn't received it, it's just not fair.
It's not legitimate.
yeah.
Yeah.
He
So,
wants the
Yeah.
Jim,
Trump
but
Award.
let's think about exactly, I mean, why Donald Trump didn't receive the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, it's not because he didn't stop 48 wars or go out there and, because in all honesty, if this peace, it's a lot of people say, okay, well, there's a peace deal, but at what, and just like Zev was talking about, at what cost? After 2 years of wiping out a whole, basically going through a genocide, and then saying, putting the people, whoever was left that stayed alive, that had nothing already, at least, and said peace. I mean, that is what Donald Trump and that's why I wanted to mention just is why he's so upset with Vladimir Putin. He's not upset with Vladimir Putin that he's bombing Ukraine. See, where this is what people don't understand. He's
Hmm.
upset with Vladimir Putin is because when he came into power, the Bibi and Putin told him that, listen, give us the time. Bibi said, I will annihilate the Palestinians, and then they'll surrender, and we'll get everything we want. And Putin said the same thing. We will take out stop giving them weapons, give us the time, and we were going to wipe out Ukraine. And the same thing, basically they'll have to come to a peace deal where you will be the winner. You will cause peace in Ukraine, even though we will wipe out most of the country, and you will make peace in the Middle East, which we will wipe out most of that. That was a game plan. Bibi did what he promised, but Putin couldn't.
Right.
Putin couldn't achieve that. And that's why Trump is so frustrated and pissed off because he's in a position right now that he's starting to realize that Russia can't get the job done. Russia is not as powerful as he was pointing him out to do. And on that, I just wanted to make a quick announcement today. I'm doing a major special report, and I welcome everybody to come. It's not going to be on Substack today. Today, I'm going to be doing it on YouTube. It's on Lev Remembers. Lev Remembers right here on YouTube. Reason I'm doing it on YouTube is because we need to start getting the information out to more and more people. Substack is also always going to be my home, and it's always going to be the place where I come and do it to. But we need to start getting this important information, and some of the information we'll be breaking today is going to have to do with some of the people like the ex-president Petro Poroshenko, one of the party leaders, Viktor Medvedchuk, who is very close with Vladimir Putin, and what Kash Patel, the FBI, and all of them have to do right now with trying to rewrite history and bring back that whole Hunter Biden stuff that is going to
They're
come
going to bring
back
it
and reverse.
back?
They're gonna bring it back
Oh
because
my
again,
gosh.
because you guys got to understand, just like what he's doing with these indictments you're seeing home. One of the major reasons, part of all this, Comey, is to rewrite history about Russiagate. They need to erase what happened in 2016 and make it seem to look like it was a deep state operative operation to try to target President Trump, and that it was not a Russian collusion. They're going after Letitia James to show that Donald Trump was a good guy. He was targeted. He wasn't the criminal. He was
Yeah, she was
targeted
indicted
by,
yesterday. Yeah.
correct. And we're going to go into that. Absolutely. They're going after, right now, we're going to be talking about Christopher Wray. Christopher Wray, somebody that he put in the position, but the reason he needs to get Christopher Wray, because he's the last piece of puzzle to change the history of January 6th, because Kash Patel said that there was over 270 FBI agents in the crowd, the
J6 crowd.
January
Yeah.
6th J6 crowd, and that's given him now the ammunition to now say Christopher Wray lied in front of Congress, lied in front of the Senate. This was another deep state operation led by the Democrats, Merrick Garland, Biden, and so on. This is all part of Project 2025. Part of all of these pieces are being put together and being played out all over the place. And that's why it's hard to keep track. And that's why, Zev, Dean do an incredible job of connecting the dots and putting the pieces together. And that's why it's so important to continue growing and building the community. The other thing I want to mention to you guys, if you notice, we have right now only about 300 something people watching this.
I don't know if
It's
that's
not normal.
yeah, I don't know
That's
if that's
not
accurate.
normal.
So I think it might be because they've got a new system in place. So I don't know. They just changed the
It's but I'll tell you, no, no,
yeah,
the numbers are not normal.
yeah.
I mean, it's either there is something going on with the algorithms, either I've been hacked, but for the past 3, 4 days, I've lost thousands of subscribers.
Oh,
And that and people instead, people are
Have you noticed that
sending me.
too? I was talking to Cohen about that the other day, and we were both saying the same thing because usually, we're up between 1 and 2,000 live views,
Oh,
hundreds
yeah.
of people subscribing a day, and it feels like some of these accounts are starting to be muted here. If that makes any
Well,
sense.
not only that, but today I've received probably maybe like 5 to 10 DMs from my subscribers saying that they were unsubscribed,
oh, really?
that they're being unsubscribed. remember, folks, a lot of these platforms are all controlled, by different people. So we have to be very careful, because when the news starts coming out, just think about, the stuff that, we've been breaking, we've been reporting on, we've been talking about, has been very, very detrimental to Donald Trump. From going back to the meeting that they were supposed to have at JD Vance's house that we broke, to all the Epstein stuff we keep talking about, all the stuff that we're talking about is detrimental to Trump. And I've noticed this the second time I've noticed this. It comes in waves. All of a sudden, a few or like a month ago, but I didn't know if this was real. So there is things happening. We have to be careful, but the most important thing is we have to spread the news. So we're all on the same team. So I recommend all of us. We're going to be do. I'm I'm going to be both on YouTube and on Substack now, to be able to make sure, just in case if there's something happening here, the message is going to be there. So I recommend all of our subscribers, all of our followers, to subscribe on both, to keep in touch with all of us here, because you never know when Donald Trump will pull the trigger and have Substack shut down, or one other place, because it's part of the plan. He just hasn't gotten there. That's why he's going after the major players right now, because it's all part of rewriting history. It's all part of shutting up the whistleblowers. It's all part of taking away the independent voices, independent journalists, to be able to brainwash you, to be able to give you just one source of information, one source of where you could read, be able to get your information, to eventually for all of you to be able to start believing that this is how it's supposed to be. But that's not the norm, and that's why we're doing everything we can, from going on different platforms, to also stuff that's happening behind the scenes that I'm actively working on. Dean's helping out. Zev, there's things that are happening, that we're not just sitting still. This is not just about being here on social media. We're doing everything to save our democracy, but it doesn't take one or two. It takes an army, and you're part of that army, from your voices, from your subscriptions, for your paid subscriptions, from you going out there. And right now, I think one of the main things we need to do is everybody needs to go, who can, reach out to Substack support, let them know that this is what you're seeing, what you're hearing. We're not seeing the same numbers. People are getting, thrown off the platform. The subscriptions, people are not getting notified of when we're going live. All of these little bits and pieces,
It's a big one.
these are big things, and this is important, because we're risking our freedom, we're risking our lives, to be in a time where it really is as dangerous as I'm saying, to be able to bring this crucial information. Some of the stuff we're talking about today, and we're going to talk about, that we're about to lead into, is stuff that the media is not even talking about, stuff that the Trump campaign and people inside are using AI technology to try to root out, these whistleblowers, these, people. So just think about to what extents they're going to, and how long it could even last. So that's why it's extremely important for you to be our voices, our megaphones, not just to spread the message, but also reach out to Substack, let them know, either our accounts are being hacked, or what's going on. Mine, I don't know about you guys, but mine, for the past several days, I've never seen anything like it. I've been losing thousands of subscribers every day.
Wow.
People are telling me that they're subscribing, they're not getting their subscriptions.
Yeah, they're being
You know,
unsubscribed. They're not getting
being unsubscribed, yeah,
notifications.
not
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
notifications, all that stuff.
I'm getting
So
complaints
I
around
don't.
gift memberships and subscriptions. That's not going through. But I haven't seen a precipitous drop yet in subscriptions, although they're not
It's
building
yeah,
as much as they used to be. But it sounds like if you're losing thousands of
yeah,
subscribers every day, that's quite serious. I mean, what you're
yeah.
saying
No,
is totally right about needing to multi-stream onto every platform, and also trying to find a way to get a protected platform of our own, where we control the mailing list, and we control who gets subscribed and who gets the membership updates, because at the end of the day we're still at the mercy of Substack here, and whoever, and they're good
Well,
guys
yeah,
as far as
and
we
you,
can
and you know
tell,
what?
but
You know what, Zev? You factor in the announcement yesterday that not, in the last couple of days, not just NSPM 7,
mhm.
factor in that Antifa press conference they had in the East Wing, where they were like, "Hey, listen, if you donated to anybody that we consider Antifa or anti-Christian or anti-American, we're coming after you." They're going after the funding arm of the Democratic Party. They're going after Act Blue. They're going after platforms. They're going after individuals. They're going after lobby groups. And that means you. I mean, Antifa is just a joke. That's just this nameless, faceless ghost that they're trying to use to paint everybody as effectively a McCarthyist in 2025. I mean, that's all that is. But to your point, we have no idea what's going on behind the scenes with Trump and the oligarchs and the people that manage these things. And I said that in a post the other day to back you up, Lev. It was you got to diversify where you're doing your shit. So the fact that you're going to be doing a show this afternoon on the Lev Remembers YouTube channel, dropping bombs there at the same time going here is really important. But again, to your point, if anybody out there that subscribes to any one of us or anybody that does this kind of content is noticing some kind of precipitous drop in followers, lack of paid, lack of notifications, a loss. Like, I mean, there was one day I lost 110 followers. I had no idea what I was doing. It was just a regular day, right? Like, I was like, what the fuck is happening? So we all need to get to the bottom of this, to your point. Back to the Trump revenge tour. Not only is he on a revenge tour with the Nobel Peace Prize committee because he's that petty, I want to get to Letitia James yesterday. I've got a clip that we want to play here in just a second, but he had charged Letitia James, who's in charge of the Southern District of New York. And we'll talk about the holding charges and what she got charged with. But she was public enemy number 2 right after Comey. Comey got it this week. Letitia James yesterday. We'll get to her arraignment. But can we play the clip of her, Zev, real quick?
This is nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding, all because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General. These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost. The president's actions are a grave violation of our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties. His decision to fire a United States attorney who refused to bring charges against me and replace them with someone who is blindly loyal not to the law, but to the president is antithetical to the bedrock principles of our country. This is the time for leaders on both sides of the aisle to speak out against this blatant perversion of our system of justice. I stand strongly behind my office's litigation against the Trump Organization. We conducted a 2-year investigation based on the facts and evidence, not politics. Judges have upheld the trial court's finding that Donald Trump, his company, and his 2 sons are liable for fraud. I'm a proud woman of faith, and I know that faith and fear cannot share the same space. And so today, I'm not fearful. I'm fearless. And as my faith teaches me, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. We will fight these baseless charges aggressively, and my office will continue to fiercely protect New Yorkers and their rights. And I will continue to do my job.
Wow, there you go. Letitia James, indicted yesterday by Trump. Do we know what she was indicted with, Lev? Your thoughts?
She was indicted on bank bank fraud, and as I talked
And making
about
false
this,
statements, I think, was the 2 things.
false state. Well,
Yeah.
it's bank fraud and false state, just like they do. With what happens is it's a double charge. We live in such a shitty and crazy society that when it comes to our criminal system, we'll talk about. But it's like, for instance, what happened to me, the same thing. So you go file. Perfect. Let me give you a simple application that might reach out to each and every one of you. This is where they're going at, folks. This is where anybody, if they want to, they could come after you. If you file an application for a credit card or a car loan, something simple, nothing even, like a local BrandsMart or Target, and they ask you, how much you make, and you say you put down 35, 40,000, but you maybe make 30,000, no, most people don't even think anything of it. They just put the number. That's considered a bank fraud, and that's considered lying. Those are two charges right there. Because you've lied what you did, and you're committing bank fraud. And this is the type of thing that they're able to do, not only with these type of charges, but wire fraud, tax evasion. Um, and let's go back to even the fact about how we had James Comey and Letitia James indicted. It's not about if they actually committed crimes, because that's not, we don't know. We don't know if they did, they didn't, the system. The fact, the way they got indicted, and we keep talking about this always, and we laugh about it. It's interesting how we all talk about, but we laugh about how when we say that you could indict a ham sandwich. Then in America, you could indict a ham sandwich. It's not funny. That should not be that way. It should be very difficult to indict anybody. You should be able to go, you should have to be able to somehow really prove to some judge out there, to be able to say, or to some jury, or there has to be a process where it's not a ham sandwich. Because you know what, folks? Because every ham sandwich that gets indicted, and there's millions of them, that did nothing wrong, but they can't afford to prove they're nothing wrong. They can't afford to fight. That's why you have such high conviction cases. That's why you have so many people sitting in prison today that never did anything wrong. That's why you have so many of this corruption going on. That's why it's like no big deal. Just come on in and tell the judge, hey, you know what? We have probable cause, and the probable cause is because that's what I feel like or I think about. That can't happen. These are the things where, to be able to go in there and charge. Just think about it. You had an insurance lawyer, that's Donald Trump's private lawyer, that used to be Mrs. I don't know, whatever,
Miss Colorado. Yeah.
Miss
Halligan,
Colorado,
yeah.
became an insurance lawyer. And now, and within a week or 10 days since she's been nominated to this position of head legal person in Virginia, has indicted an ex-FBI director on a case that no other professional prosecutor wanted to even indict, and that even ex-attorney generals did not want to indict, and then indicted now since current attorney general of the state of New York, for, again, crimes that, again, mostly everybody that said that they've seen, that they've talked about, are so are very, very flaky. Now, even the grand jury, we're hearing that not everybody agreed. The grand jury on even one of Comey's charges, they didn't even indict. Think about that. You can indict a ham sandwich, but they didn't even indict him on one of that's how flimsy some of the stuff is. So that is a major thing we need to take a look at, because I think we're Trump's opening up our eyes on how messed up our system is. Because if it could happen to Comey and Letitia James, think about all of us. Think about every American citizen, every day individual that's out there, that if for whatever reason, and this is the environment we're living in, maybe they looked at your social media post and you said something that Donald Trump didn't like against him, and the local sheriff took that personally and said, you know what, let's take a look at this person, let's pull him over for a speeding violation. Oh, by the way, you're talking back to me. Oh, wait a second, that's resisting arrest. Oh, by the way, before you know it, that person's life is already destroyed, and he has 3 felony counts that you can't do nothing. This is the
That's
power.
that's what see, now you talk about that in ways, and the perception that you've given us of your experience about indicting a ham sandwich, because you were the ham sandwich. It's
Yeah.
not just the destruction of the life of that ham sandwich for no fucking reason whatsoever, other than political persecution, other than revenge. It's the ham sandwich's kids and wife being treated like they were hardened criminals, with a SWAT team rolling into your house, scaring the shit out of your kids and your family, giving your family PTSD over a lengthy period of time. Same with Cohen, same with Comey, right? It's got to be the same with Comey, and the same with Letitia James, for the crime of being on the wrong side of Donald J. Trump. Like, that's really the only, and it's the best through line that we're kind of talking about today with the indictment of the ham sandwich, the analogy that you can do that in the United States, and something needs to fucking change, right? Because Donald Trump is literally driving a truck through the opportunity that the American judicial system has afforded him, right?
Well, and excuse me, and he's not just stopping there. This is just the beginning, folks. I mean, today or tomorrow, I'm hearing that we're going to hear another, indictment. There's with the next one is Adam Schiff on the line. You're also they're talking about Brennan. They're also making a major push for Christopher Wray. They're making a major, Jack Smith. You're going to see all of these people indicted. This is all good. You're going to see all these. Now think about all of those names, all of those cases, all of this going on, how much distraction that's going to take place, how much craziness is going to take place, how many lives it's going to, and how, but the most important, how many people it's going to scare. How many people that are out there right now that are contemplating that overheard something or seen something, or and they're saying to themselves, do I really am I should I really
Should I
tell
be a whistleblower?
should
Yeah.
right should I go tell somebody, should I do something about it? Because where's the oversight? Is something really going to happen? Because that's what we're missing. Yes, people are coming out, we have whistleblowers, we're talking about, we're breaking news every day, but where's the oversight? Where's the actual things happening? I mean, we're watching the Johnson literally prolonging, putting in a congresswoman from Arizona, and her constituents can't get their own congresswoman in. Why? Because they're covering up for the Epstein files.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying to you? So you're seeing all of this play out, and that's why right now, again, I want to emphasize, because of what I'm seeing happen and play. This could be, an operation from the MAGA group to infiltrate Substack, to infiltrate some of these social media, to start sharing. One of the things I've also been noticing, a lot of subscribers have been emailing me and telling me that there's fake Lev accounts, fake
Mm.
Michael Cohen, fake Aaron
Mm.
Parnas accounts, fake Midas Touch. I don't know if you guys have
Yeah,
been getting
there
it
are some.
also,
Yeah.
that are hitting up, asking for
I had
money,
this lovely old
asking
lady
for.
from Richmond, Virginia, call me the other day saying that she hopes I get better, and she donated to me, and I'm like, well, what are you talking about? And
Yeah.
literally, there was a fake Dean Blundell Substack account. There were several actually. When we did our digging, we reported them all. They've been since taken down, but this happens all the time. Like 3 to 4 a week, I get from fake Substack accounts that are like, hey man, I hope your young child gets better. I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's these people out there fishing for money, pretending they're me and I'm sick or there's something wrong with my family, and
I'll, t-
people are actually donating.
I'll tell you one thing. Well, because people are great, and God bless you guys, because they're trying to support us, and we appreciate it. But that's the whole thing. It's a psyop. A lot
Mhm.
of these, yes, you'll get some of these people that are out there that are trying to scammers, because you have the scammers, the con artists out there in every world. So that's a given one. But you also have the psyops that are using that to be able to portray, to be able to put fear into people to subscribe to you, put people to stop contributing to you, because of fear it might be a scam, because any way they could stop from us to be able to spread the information, the stuff that the media is not talking about, because that's what we're doing. That's why they're attacking. Just think about who they're attacking, every single day and every single time. They're attacking
Yeah.
the people that are coming out and giving out. See, somebody just wrote there that some fake love asked for $5,000. Folks, I'm telling you right now, I would, if you get a letter asking even for $5, it's not me. I would
Mhm.
never ask you for anything. The only thing I ever ask you for is, if you want to, please become my paid subscriber. You could contribute to some of my whatever you can or want, to platforms, and obviously, or some of this GoFundmes we do to try to help people in Ukraine or other parts of the world. I will never ask you for $1. So right away, you know that. And I don't think anybody on this stage would do the same thing. So
No.
I think that would be the first response. So, if anybody's out there is emailing you or asking you for money, I think that's the first response, that that's not us, because we're not here. This is. Uh, this is not something that I'm doing because I'm a journalist. This is not, a career. I've been put into this position because of certain things that had happened in my life. My son brought me to this platform, and thank God for that, because over the past 3-4 months, we've been able to really, I think, cause a lot of havoc by spreading this information and hitting Trump and Vance and a lot of them on a lot of stuff that we broke. Especially, I give it to us here, Zev, Dean, myself, and some other people that kept the Epstein files alive and where we are today. A lot of people are taking credit for it, but they were the first ones that were talking about saying let's just move on, enough with the Epstein. When I remember when in July 6th, the day when it broke, everybody was like, let's move on. This is going to be nothing. And we kept it alive. We kept it
Hmm.
talking. Now you
Mm.
have Ro Khanna. Now you have Messi. Now you have Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now you have people. No, now and that's a major thing, because we're making a difference, and because we're making a difference, we are moving up on their list, on their hit list. Because it's not just Donald Trump that has a hit list; they all have that. From the Laura Loomers to the Benny Johnsons to all of these people, this is what they do. This is what they're trying. This is how they make their money, by going out there doing these psyops, making fake stories, putting out these conspiracy theories, and trying to screw up, so we can't fight their disinformation. And that's why I always say it's so imperative and so important to be alert, to follow, to listen, to ask the questions. We do these sometimes, not sometimes, but at least twice a week, or maybe sometimes three. We do spaces where we do Q&A. Bring your questions. These are the times. This is the time where, by being paid subscribers, bring your questions, see what's going on, get the more knowledge is very extremely important. So yeah, so I think right now it's a very important time where each and every one of you let your voices be heard on Substack, on other social media platforms. If you're not seeing us, if for whatever reason you're being be a little more alert. If you're being unsubscribed, you might have to subscribe, because that's part of the war. This is part of what they're doing to try to make sure they suppress our information, because our information is what they really don't want you to hear.
Levi,
So
I'm so glad you raised that issue of the distraction, because what they're doing every day for the last 2 days is giving us a different story to talk about, other than the shutdown and other than Epstein. So we had James Comey on Monday, and now we're talking about Letitia James till 24/7 on TV channels. Instead of talking about the fact that healthcare has been taken away from so many people, especially in red states, and instead of talking about why Mike Johnson is not swearing in a new congressperson because of the Epstein files. I mean, these are such major distractions. So they're feeding us all these other stories, about Letitia James. Her benefit out of this whole supposed crime was $18,000. They're comparing that to what Donald Trump was convicted for in her case against him, which was, I can't remember the amount, but it was several hundred million. It was a lot of
Hundreds of
money.
millions, yes.
It's not, you can't compare these two cases, and yet they are trying to create that false equivalency between what Letitia James did and what Donald Trump did. Anyway.
yeah, but and let me kind of tie one on here to what Lev said and what you just said as well, in terms of distractions, in terms of false equivalence. I don't know if you saw, Lev, we talked about it yesterday, Eric Swalwell's bombshell tweet that, don't worry, guys, it's going to be over soon. Effectively, over 100 GOPers are going to jailbreak for MAGA because the Epstein files are definitely coming. Would love your thoughts on that, or at least what you've heard or what you know, because I don't know if Swalwell's telling the truth, but if he knows something and there's a revolt at play here within the GOP and MAGA loyalists leaving the cozy cave of Donald Trump's MAGA movement because they don't want to be known as pedophile protectors. That was the first I've heard of it. I don't know what you're hearing, but would love your thoughts.
Yeah. So First of all, don't get too excited. We're not going to get like they're not switching sides. But with that said, I have heard from my sources, and I can't confirm that. And I also had Congressman Don Bacon on my Substack Live. We also had Congressman Rokana, and they also validated the same thing. What Swalwell is saying is that even like Bacon, perfect example, like he did not sign on to the petition, the 218. And a lot of these folks, a lot of these congressmen and congresswomen in the Republican Party, there's over 200 of them that you don't know their names, you don't speak about them, you don't hear about them. You hear about that 10, 20% that are constantly out there, on the television, like the Johnsons, the Taylors, the Greens, the Boberts, and all of that. These are the people that are trying to stay quiet, and basically because they know that the races are coming up. They understand that they do not want to be associated with covering up for pedophiles. This is not a partisan issue. This is the whole country. Over 70, 80% of the country wants these files to be released. So they understand they don't want that to be dragged into their races. So that's why they've been staying away from this vote right here on the 218. And that's why Johnson is doing everything in his power to not, put in
Swear
this
in
congressman,
Adelita
swear in
Grijalva. Yeah,
swear
yeah.
her in, because he knows it automatically pushes to the next step, 218. And what I'm hearing is 100% we're going to have the floodgates open up, that you're going to see a lot of Republican congressmen and congressmen vote for the release of the Epstein files. But it's not going to be a break against Trump fully. It's going to be making sure that they are on record for the midterm elections that they did not support. Because remember, the next step then it goes to Trump. It does, just because we have even if they all sign and agree that this should be released, that Trump's still going to have to. So, but the good part about it is the more Republicans obviously sign on to it, the more the floodgates open up, the more pressure is going to be put on Trump. But guys, I'll tell you this much: we don't even have to wait for that. That's why I keep telling, and I'm working on putting something together to actually do it, because nobody's doing it. We're just going to go do it, figure out how and get it done. But we should be every single day. I'm telling you, the one thing Trump does not want to see, Trump has his Oval meetings. He has all of that set up. This is all prepared to be able to every day give constant, throw shit at the wall, as they say it. So this way the Democrats could be just running around defending it all day long, distracting, keeping your eye away from the ball, which is the implementation of Project 2025, the destruction of our Constitution, and getting prepared to be able to dismantle, so we can't even probably vote in 2026 through either an insurrection or something. This is what's happening behind the scenes. But in your face, he's throwing all of this stuff around. So that's why it's important more than ever. And I keep saying it and saying it and saying it. I feel like a broken record. But that is why right now we have the tool. These Democrats should be standing with these survivors, with Marjorie Taylor Greene on the front lawn of the White House. All the media would cover it every morning. And they should start off with saying, Mr. President, the survivors wants to sit in the Oval. Why aren't you allowing them to come into the Oval to hear their stories? Mr. President, open up the government. We here are standing up here. You control the Senate. You control the House. You control the executive. We are asking you for the people. We need health care. Lower the health care. Open up the. They should be doing it every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day, every morning. It should be ritual in the afternoon and night. There's nothing else that they could do. There's nothing. They have no other power. The only power that they have is they have these survivors, these poor women, these poor young girls that were assaulted, that are willing to come out, that are willing to speak. They also have Project 2025 that they could just literally every day go out there, take a piece of it, and give it to the public to see. Because just think about what happened when Kamala Harris mentioned that Donald Trump was supporting Project 2025. He turned away from it. Exactly. He said, no, I don't want nothing I don't know nothing about. And now he's embracing it. He came out, he's accepted it. He's given it to you. So go out. I mean, these are the two. These are simple things. There's so much other things. You can. And the thing that I want to say, it's not a one prong attack or one prong war. That's why Donald Trump is not coming with you with one source of information. He's flooding it. He's hitting you from all over angles. He's doing stuff in Europe. He's doing stuff in the Middle East. He's attacking Venezuela. He's hitting you here at home. He's going all over the place. Same thing here. It's not just coming out and talking about the Epstein files. It's not just coming out talking about Project 2025. It's implementing 20 different plans of how to be able to. It's a war. And that's part
Indicting
of the war.
people, federalizing police services,
Mm.
threatening annexation. It's all there, man. You're right.
Yeah.
It's all
What Lev
there.
is talking about, which I think is important to remember here, is this is narrative warfare. We're talking about, foreign entities mostly, but there's a war around what Americans believe and around what Americans believe is the truth and what are facts. And we've been speaking about it all hour in different ways, but this is the theme that really is all about. There is truth on the one side, and on the other side is this attempt by MAGA to distort all of that using every means possible. And Lev is so completely correct that their response to that narrative warfare, which is being mostly aggressively implemented by MAGA and their allies, is not being really responded to in the same way by Democrats. It's not an aggressive response. It's more of a, we'll wait to see what shiny object they throw up every day and we'll just follow that. And what we need is a much more aggressive counter-strike against them so they can start reacting to what the left is saying and what truth is and what facts are. And in some ways, we did that with Epstein, but there are so many other things, as you point out, Lev, that we can do that with.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I give you another one. We get some, we need some, actual people that are not hardcore Democrats, but we need people that are out there that could speak commonly to the other side and get some contributors to be able to be going on Fox, Newsmax, on all of these right-wing channels, going on Alex Jones, going on Benny Johnson, going on all these shows, debating them, arguing them, being letting, because right now it's an echo chamber. Right now it's just like whatever Trump says, it just gets passed down. They frame it, they cut it, and they have a machine going. You know what I'm saying to you? And we need to contradict that. We need to be able to put together our own machine. But the only way that happens is first you have to get some unity. I mean, I've been preaching, is screaming that we can't even get one message, a united message together. Forget about the congressmen and senators. I mean, I have no power, but I'm trying to do it even here on our social media platform, and it's difficult because everybody's out there in their own world. Everybody's out there trying to have their own platforms. I'm saying we need to unite more, do more shows. Yeah, you could do your own shows, everything, but you see like what Zev is doing, you guys, Dean, what you guys are doing here. Like there are platforms. We should have another 4 or 5 people on here, another top what's it called, people that have big followings, that we could spread the message. So we don't have 4, 5, 6, 700 people on here, which is totally absurd right now. I don't know. This has to be wrong because we
It could be
usually have
the
a
new
few,
system that they've implemented.
right.
I
You
might
know
have
what I'm
done
saying
something
to you?
wrong, but I think it's the new system they've implemented. So I got
Yeah,
about
I've got like 11, 1200, I think, on mine
okay.
right now. So yeah.
Okay, well, I've got 600 on
I
mine.
I
So I don't
don't
know.
even see. I don't even know what's going. Like that's what I'm saying to you. But
Okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying in general, we should. It has to be more a unified message.
Yeah.
We have to start uniting quicker. We have to start, and when we have these independent journalists like Acosta and others, they need to start spreading the message. They have huge platforms. When they need to start. We need to start unifying and saying, okay, if this every day we should all be talking about certain things like the Epstein stuff, the Project 2025. No matter what comes out, no matter what destruction, yes, we could discuss it, talk a little bit about it, but go right back into exactly where it is. And the biggest thing is we need to go out into their world. Because again, I keep saying, and everybody, please don't get upset with me. Yes, Gavin Newsom going out there doing what he's doing is great, but it's not getting us votes. It's not getting us any people coming in. It's getting us, a little. It's entertainment. That's all it
Lev,
is.
I've
It's
got a
not
structure for a 24/7 news network that we can roll out tomorrow. That's already operational. It's not
really.
online, but we can start it. I mean, it's repeats
Please,
programs.
let's talk about. Yeah,
And
let's
we
talk
could
about
put
it.
that
I've been
on
trying to.
cable news. We could put it on people's smart TVs. We can put it on people's YouTubes. We can put it wherever we want to that channel. It needs unity and it needs other players involved. But that structure exists. It's not even that complicated to put up. You could do it in a
Let's talk,
matter of
let's talk
days.
about this offline,
Yeah.
because I have plenty of people that we have plenty of content, and this is what I've been actually trying to talk and put together, is we should have a channel of all of these, from Acosta to Katie Fang to the Lemons, the Michael Cohens,
The
the
great
I'm
names,
saying
big
to you,
names.
the Steve Schmitz, I'm saying to you, the Rick Wilsons. Each of one of them could be having their hour or half hour channels on a channel where and it could be the truth to the real truth to CNN and independent journalists. Midas Touch, they could have their hours. Aaron could have his hour. You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
And people, and I agree with you 100%. This is something you're speaking music to my ears.
Well,
Zev,
it actually
because
exists. I mean, I have the system; it just hasn't launched, but I've got it set up. It's a little complicated to do repeated live shows in the way we'd want to, but I'll explain what I have offline, and we should do that, because I think you're
let's
absolutely
speak
right
offline. Yeah,
in
let's definitely speak
expanding
about
the
it.
amount of people who get to see all this content.
Yeah, you know what?
100%.
What a fantastic idea! And I know we've got so many people going in the same direction, but everybody's got a different slant, different perspective. Everybody's doing slightly different content, as opposed to just sticking to the messaging. And I think that the conversations we've had offline and the ones we're going to have offline continually all point in that direction, which is supporting people and brands that are doing content that you can trust. And I can tell you this as we wrap up today. There are no better people that I've ever had a chance to work with, and I've been at this for a solid 30 years, than Lev Parnas, Zev Shalev, Waj, Cohen. I mean, the aim is true with everybody that's specifically in this Substack Live right now. And not just true to the point where, hey, listen, we're here because we're you. It's true because, as Lev points out, he does this at great personal cost to himself. We do this because we love it, but we do this because we love you. We love America. We love democracy. And so subscribing to people like Lev, like Zev, like myself, other people sharing this content as we continually start to kind of evolve and build this content and what it looks like, so that we can be part of that resistance with you. And we need a bit of a bigger boat. It's going to take more people to subscribe. It's going to take more people to email Substack and say, where are my notifications? Why am I being unsubscribed to guys like Lev Parnas, guys like Zev, guys like Dean? And it's going to take a village, really. It always does. And that village is, here for you because we are you. And so I want to thank Lev and encourage everybody to run, not walk. As I say all the time, to subscribe to Lev Remembers at Lev Parnas on Substack. He is not just an award-winning whistleblower. He's an American hero who is putting it all on the line for democracy, for America, for Ukraine, not doing it for a party, not doing it for a title, and not doing it for a paycheck. He's doing this because he feels like this is his calling and this is what he has to do. And same with Zev. Zev has been through the ringer to the point where he's been put in career cul-de-sacs more than once by the same machine that we're trying to fight. And both of these men aren't just still here. They're shining examples of what resilience means. They're shining examples of what temperance, courage, wisdom, and justice means. And I would highly encourage everybody to continue to interact with everything Lev and Zev do. And if you got a couple more minutes at the end of the day, please subscribe to Dean Blundell. That's Substack.com.
You work so hard, Dean, and you do such a good job there promoting everybody, but really you're being so self-effacing. Everyone should subscribe to deanblundell.substack.com. It's an excellent catch-up on every news story you need every day, and it's happened so early in the morning. I have no idea when you wake up, but it's always
Well,
there.
plus the good news is I got the Trump Nobel story there and a picture of him lonely looking over the Hudson River. So you can go check that out today.
And Dean has some incredible sources when it comes to Canadian information, and with everything that's happened between Canada and the United States. I mean, Dean really has broken some stories, and that's what I mean. Like, this is it's just the stories that Zev broke with the Epstein stuff. Just think about it. He's been into the whole Epstein stuff for years. He was people that, and the stuff that we don't, that doesn't even get touched on. We talk about survivors, which is extremely important, but the money flow, the timing, we don't even touch on, the Bill Barr. Why did Bill Barr? What was the evidence? What was the big thing that they decided to pull the trigger and arrest him in 2019? What happened?
It's a good
Was it because
question.
of some?
That's a good question. You know,
Like,
did you see
you
the
know, say,
CBS News report yesterday? There was no actual homicide investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's death. The entire crime scene was
yeah.
completely corrupted. There was nothing there that they could actually point to as real evidence.
Oh,
They couldn't even identify the noose that supposedly killed him.
Zev, we should do a special on it because I served time when I was in
Yeah.
Otisville Penitentiary. One of the person I spent time with was the actual person that mopped up Epstein's cell in MDC while when he was there right after the hanging, the murder, whatever you
Oh,
want to
wow.
call it, and he got transferred. He was supposed to be going up to a different prison, but they transferred to him to a camp, and I ended up being him. So there's some stories there also that we could talk about.
It's
And
fascinating stuff.
also remember, I spent time in a cell like that for
Mm,
over a month. Michael Cohen spent time in a cell like that for over a month. We've from personal experience, I could tell you, it's extremely. I mean, you'd have to work so hard and to be able to hang yourself.
yeah.
It's just I'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Really,
saying
really
to you, and there's a lot more to that story,
My
and
believe
also
me.
God, I went. Tell me when you guys are doing this because it sounds like something I'd like to watch. I'll even subscribe.
The other thing is the Jamie Dimon letter, you know, that Raskin sent to Jamie Dimon yesterday at JP Morgan. That's a hell of a letter if you read it about how much this bank stood by this human trafficking for years and only reported it after the fact. For 15 years, they stood by processing all these human trafficking, invoices and whatever it was that were passing through those bank accounts, $1.5 billion, and they did nothing. And they knew what it was. They knew exactly what it was. They
Yeah,
were there at the mansion. You know, Jeff Staley was there all the time.
the biggest thing again. There's lots of questions, but the one question nobody wants to ask, and that's probably a very important one, because remember, we knew Epstein had a lot of problems. He's been arrested in 2009 or 8. He went through that whole thing, Acosta, this, that, the other thing. What happened in 2019 that Bill Barr under Donald Trump decided to shut him up? Because Bill Barr doesn't take people to get to the bottom of the truth, just like with me.
Yeah.
They arrested me to shut me up.
Mhm.
They arrested what was that cause? Nobody ever. What was the breaking thing? Was it child pornography? Was it sexual?
But he was
Something to do with
talking.
sexual.
He was talking, right? I mean, there was they knew
Exactly.
when he
There
got
we
to
go.
when he got into prison, he started
There we
talking,
go.
and and
No,
that
no,
they
but
didn't want that.
not even in prison.
Yeah, I
Zev,
think before.
I'm even going a step further. What was taken to the grand jury? Was it financial
Oh.
crimes? Was it sexual crimes? What was he being? What was
The same
what?
things that Ghislaine was basically charged with. So criminal human assault and of underage girls, I think. But
But
that's
what
not.
triggered it?
But
What
I think
triggered it in 2019? That's what I'm saying to you.
yeah,
I'm saying to you that something triggers these things, and Bill Barr, knowing Bill Barr, knowing, and the way things happened, it wasn't, I don't believe that, Epstein was arrested and all of this happened because they were trying to get to the bottom of and exploit this whole, child pedophile
He
ring
was
and all
getting
this
ready to
crazy.
sing.
well,
That
Jeffrey
guy.
Epstein knew everything about Donald Trump. Jeffrey Epstein could bring down Donald Trump in about 2 seconds, and that's
And Bill Barr's whole goal was to protect the office of the presidency, right? Bill Barr's
Thank
whole,
you.
yeah,
Thank you, Dean. Thank you.
yeah,
That's why he
yeah,
arrested me. It wasn't
yep,
me. Donald Trump didn't want me arrested. Donald Trump wanted me to continue doing the shit I was doing. But
yep.
Bill Barr, just like Bill Barr was there to try and protect the office of the presidency
Hmm.
without caring what Trump wanted. That's a very important thing that you just said that, because a lot of people don't realize that that's where it was. But anyway, a
Yeah.
lot more to
that
this.
is an interesting conversation. We should have
Well,
a
tell
show
me when
about
this podcast is,
yeah,
gentlemen, because now I want to
Yeah.
be involved in it. Okay,
we
I'll
should have
even
a
do
show.
it for
We'll put it
free.
together. No,
Okay.
we'll definitely put it together.
Guys, really appreciate you being here. Again, Lev remembers at Lev Parnas on Twitter. Narrative.org is where you're going to find my friend Zev Shalev. Zev, thanks so much for taking care of the tech today. Lev, as always, thank you very much for showing up for this week in review.
Thank you,
Very
guys.
sobering look into the weekend. And keep an eye on Lev this weekend. Keep an eye on us this weekend. We're not going anywhere because we're here with you and we are you. And a quick sign off from all of us. Thanks. Subscribe, share, do what you got to do. Be part of the resistance. And we'll talk to you guys very soon. Thanks, Lev. What's that?
And don't forget 2 p.m. YouTube,
2 p.m. today. Okay.
Lev remembers, Lev remembers 2 p.m. Eastern.
YouTube.
We're gonna go live and do some really breaking stuff.
You're gonna drop some bombs today, are you?
We're gonna drop some bombs on Ukraine and what Kash Patel, the FBI, and how they're trying to revive this whole Biden stuff with the ex-president of Ukraine that is on trial right now in Ukraine for treason. Petro Poroshenko. We're gonna get to all of that and break it all down.
All right. Well, thanks very much. I also like your merch, by the way. It's very nice. I want one of those.
Thank you.
Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.
Take care.